Hey guys, today I want to share with you a tool that I made from an otherwise discardable section of a zip tie. I use it fairly often around my shop, and I want to show you how I made it and how I use it. So let's get into it. Okay, so here's the zip tie I started out with. It's just a pretty plain zip tie, pretty long one. I snipped the original zip tie off, I put it on something and had a fairly long end. Now here's the tool that I made using that zip tie. On one end of this zip tie, I cut it. I took my little snipping tool and just went in and cut out a little V section on it there like that. Now the other end I angled, gave it a little bit of an angle, and then I took some sandpaper. Now here's a sanding board, and what I did once I got it cut the way I wanted it, I just went and rubbed it down there and got it so that it's a very very thin and angled. Okay, so that's basically my tool. Now here's a situation where I use the tool and I'm using the sharpened end. These are some parts out of a DVO rear shock, and basically those shocks, when you service them, you need to replace the rubber gaskets. This is a damper piston here, and what you don't want to do, you don't want to scar anything on here if you can help it. So I find this very helpful. You can just use this to get down under the gasket and just peel it right off relatively easy, and have no fear whatsoever of damaging or scarring on the metal parts. Here is a compression piece of that Topaz, and to get the gasket off there, you can use this tool to pop those gaskets right off. It just makes it a lot better, a lot more foolproof than trying to take them off with a screwdriver or a pick or something like that. And just another example here. You got this gasket in a kind of a tough place to get to. But you can use that pick just to peel them right off, or help you peel them off, and not have to worry about damaging anything on here. Now here's another use for this tool. This is a front fork stanchion on a Zeb fork, and this fork is a 2020 or 21 and does not have the bleeder air valve. And to check this fork to make sure that there's no air trapped, you have to get you have to open up basically this little part of the fork. And the way I do it, because I've got this thing good and sharp here and it's angled, it allows me to relatively easy get down in there and press it down in, so that I can get air out of the top part of the top part of the fork, or to get the air out of the lower. So that's the second way that I found to use it, is that it allows you to get down, and you don't have to worry about scratching the stanchion on the fork. And because this is big enough and thick enough, you can press it down in there. Now this is how I use, or what I have the other end. This is the angled end, or the little fork end, and what I've got here is the spring on the fork seal. And when I change or do service on the front fork, I normally take the springs off just to make it easier to get the stanchion in and out, and to not damage the fork seal. Now this helps to get the seal back on there, because what it allows you to do is get a little bit of a grip on that spring and push it down in the back where it's hard to get to it, and hold it down on there, and then you can relatively easily get the spring back in on the seal. So that is using the forked end of this little tool to get the spring back on the fork seal. Well, there you have it, guys. That's my little zip tie tool. I hope I've given you guys something to think about, and I'll see you at the top.